Hello, GMAN 5D. We are actually on time for once. If you watched my week 2.5 recap, it was kind of to get us to a point where I could do this one on time, and then we would actually have week 3 done on schedule and ready for week 4. It's going to be fantastic, so here we are. So, I mean, what I'll do is I'll finish going through the week 3 scores, which we already looked at some of them. So, we knew about the win for the Dark Elves. That was quite good. So, Valakas Ass Kickers beat the Nimrats. Now that, I didn't put in at all. I put the opposite. I said the Rats were going to win. I did say Chaos had a chance if they could kill all the Rats. And with 16 armor breaks, I'm gonna think maybe that's what happened. Maybe he just sort of like beat up a lot of Rats. No touchdown is surprising, really. If he'd won, I thought it might have been 2-1 or something like that. To 1-0 is a shame for the Nimrats. No one really knows what else to say about that. Must have been really well played by the Ass Kickers, SPP wise. That's only 2 Kaz then, it's 2 Kaz MVP and a pass, as opposed to this, which could be, you know, it could be 2 passes or a Kaz, which is also quite likely. So not a lot really happened. That's not a lot of dice being rolled. That is a lot of ones. That is a lot of ones. I mean, it's a lot of dice in general, but there's a scale. There's actually a scale going down the way until 5s, and then you have a little jump in 6s. So I mean, what was that? 5 failed dodges is bad if any of them were in gutter runners. 67 armor saves made. That means there's 67 occasions where he got knocked over. That's bad. No one injured? How does this make sense? Are these rolled on air? I hate these stats. I'm going to stop looking at them. KO rolls were okay. Oh! That could be the problem there. One pickup succeeded out of 7 is bad. Over here. Just got all sorts of normal stuff going on. Not many failures. Not many dice at all, and almost the same 6s as 1s. A lot more 5s and 2s and 4s and 3s, so he was hanging up about this end. That's pretty good. That's a really good result for the Ass Kickers. I thought they were going to lose. They've got a leveled up Warrior. Leveled up Storm Vermin is good for the Nimrats, but obviously he didn't win. Interesting. Then the Gorkies took on Heinous Huggies. So, it's a concede. So, maybe things happened that no one told me about. It's not confirmed either. I'll have to check. I don't know what's going on. It seems like the Gorkies couldn't schedule a match, maybe? I guess we'll find out. This one's good. The Althoff Black Widows drew 2 each with Adalok Pobel. Now, in the 2.5 cap, I said I hate Bretts, and I love Dark Elves, and I think the Bretts will get smashed, and I think the Black Widows are going to take joint first on 3 wins, and they didn't. That is a high-scoring game. That's impressive, really impressive from, I believe, Niklas on the Adalok Pobel to pull that one off. Really, really impressed. MVP on a Peasant's not great. MVP on a Lineman's not great. Plenty made between the 2 teams. And no passes or anything, just looks like he walked up the pitch. Yep, 102 yards running, none passing. 1 pass from the Elves. So pretty good. I want to look at both their teams after this. It's a shame for the Widows who had a chance to go first. Obviously a draw is not injuring their overall run at the moment, and it's a really big draw I think for the Bretts. So that I'm happy with. And then we have the Byzantine Bashers and Frey Asgard. I predicted Frey Asgard would win just because Norse are a real struggle for them. And then they did. 2-0. Rough. 9 armor breaks is pretty bad for the Bashers. Against armor 7 you'd really hope for more. I'm just going to assume he didn't get too many knockdowns because of all the block that he doesn't have. That looks like 2 to me. 2 Kaz. I mean, that's the 2 touchdowns there. I mean, it could be any. I think there's the MVP. So yeah, 2 touchdowns, also 2 Kaz, which is not great. Really well played by Frey Asgard. I thought this is where Norse are really able to take it to Chaos. So level up on a lineman from the MVP. Not great, but not terrible, because it is a level up. And level up on a Chaos Warrior on this team, but he does have an injury, which is not great. But that was the expected result. Sorry, Byzantines, but it was. And that fully covers week 3. So some surprising ones in there, like the Rats. Some not surprising at all ones in there, like the Guard. And just a mess all over everywhere else. Let's have a look at the teams. I have just exited your division, guys. I hate it that much. So, have the tacklers made any significant improvements? Let's see. A ghoul out. Miss next game would be ideal. Yeah, only miss next game. So, this block dodge ghoul will be coming back, but he only has 3 of them to use going into week 4. Just something to think about. And 2 guard mummies now, which just makes life a nightmare. Tackle mighty blow already had a lot more block, and the dirty player, which he always had, because I love Brain Slurper, he's my favourite. On 3 rerolls. This team's in a really good position. They've got the Wrestle Ghoul as well, who's pretty good at getting the ball. They have a player with Wrestle and a player with Tackle, so they have some ways of dealing with block and dodge, which is starting to get heavy on the other teams. And on their own team as well. They've got a ton of it. Almost a level up on Life Stealer as well. So the Tacklers are in first place on the leaderboard, and also just in a really good position. I don't see any reason why they should lose any of their games. Obviously they will, because it's Blood Bowl, but on paper, great position, great team, happy with the development in my eyes. The Sir, great place to be. So before I do the rest, we'll take a quick look at the leaderboard, because I know it, you guys don't. So like I said, the Sir's in first to 3 wins, no losses. It's a joint first with the Freya's Guard, also 3 wins, no losses. It's good for both of them. Ambi Tank and the Alpha of Black Widows. I used one coach name and one team name. Stop me. 2 wins in the draw, which is a really good start. Still undefeated, still in really good positions. Then you come down to the other 2 elf teams who are on 2 wins and a loss. So that's Burner and Grumpelkins on the high and the Dark Elves. Grumpelkins' loss is actually to the Tacklers, so it's not as bad as it looks, because when you have losses early on, it's better, obviously, it's just in any league, it's better to be having them to people that are quite high up rather than people down below, because it shows that you still have you're still quite belonging of being in the higher end of the table. It's generally, in my opinion. I also like seeing that the elves are 4th, 5th and 6th, because in the pre-cap I really thought this would be 1st, 2nd, and then elves being high elves could have took it anywhere. But both of them have had a stumble already. Given how souped up their teams were, I didn't think it would happen. It might not happen again, you know. Stumbles always happen in Blood Bowl, so that might be their one and only. But it's giving the other teams a fair chance to start making leads and building leads, and just, it's not eliminating the ones lower down either. So I quite like seeing them here. There's the Gorkies, whose game doesn't count because it's not confirmed yet. Again, I'll have to check what that is, but it's looking like they'll go 1-1-1. Balakas Ass Kickers pick up their first win against the Rats, against the Lords. Quite happy with that for them. And they can start going up. Heinous Huggies, it looks like we'll pick up their 2nd win because of the Gorkies, which is good, because remember in the pre-cap I said they were fat. They had only, oh, bad words, they only had 2 Nurgle Warriors. They had no level ups on any of the 4, and they're also Nurgle, so I thought they'd really struggle. 2 wins early, it's fantastic. I think if they can build on that, it's going to be good. Barbecue Brawlers and Adult Lockable are struggling, but it was a big draw for Adult to pick up this week. Really big draw. I mean, it's not ideal when you look at where he is in the leaderboard, but it's so much nicer than 0-0-3, and it was against a really high opponent in the Alpha of Black Widows, so I think he should be really pleased with the 2-2. The 2 Bretonian teams on the same record in 10th and 11th kind of speaks volumes about how I feel about Bretonians as well, because I think I'm on the exact same record in 5C on 0-1-2. They struggle as a team, I feel, especially if you don't have the right mindset for that team. The Bashers unfortunately didn't pick up their first win, and they are down here on 0-0-3. Lorcos de la Cabeza also 0-0-3, and Nimrats also 0-0-3. So, I mean, those teams have got work to do, but there's 10 games left to go, so it's not like you can't ever catch up, but there's definitely work to do. Those coaches will know that. You don't need to stress it. You don't want to be 0-0-3. You just hope they're picking up some good SPP and they can start making a push for later in the league to come, somewhere in the mid to high table. Winning would not be impossible, absolutely not, but every week that you can't pick up your first win, it's going to become less and less likely. So knowing that, we'll look at the second place team, the two undefeated teams beside each other, first and second to accept their tickets. That's not a coincidence, I don't think so. So the Yeti's picked up Mighty Blow, which I see right away. Claw Mighty Blow, terrifying. When he finally does play against the Sir, the Yeti needs to hit the mummies and get them gone. If he can get them gone with Claw Mighty Blow, which is really easy, that's the scary part about it, it's really easy, then that opens up a lot more of the field for him. 2 more Mighty Blow as well to just, I mean, you'd probably use it to try to pick on ghouls or something. Still no levels on the Ulfs, it's incredibly hard to do. I mean, you just have to hope they get lucky, no scaled Kaz. I mean, you can't give them the ball on Agi 2, so this is really unlucky. But he does have one that if he can just get 1 Kaz will go up, and he needs block on the Mace app. Blodge Runner, fantastic. It doubles. Nothing on the thrower. Tackle lineman and a guard lineman, which is nice. It's nice. It's just nice to have tackle because so much dodge is appearing in the division, and it's just nice to have guard because guard is guard. Obviously, it doubles for a lineman, which is a little expensive. He's kind of an expensive AV7 lineman now, but he does have block to not get knocked over so easy, and he's focusing on the damage strength skills with his actual strength access players, which I think is completely reasonable. Berserkers do have strength access, right? I'm not making this up. Where can I check? They do, there you go, singles, of course. I don't play Norse, I just wanted to be sure I wasn't making, I was wanting to make sure I wasn't ignoring like a doubles player there. But no, it's singles access for him. So the Bretonians, I said, not doing too great. I like a movement 8 blitzer, I think it adds a lot to the team. And a block dodge sure hands gives you a very clear ball carrier. So these two are coming along well. Needs to force a pass on these two next game, I feel. You need to, on both of them. Honestly, waste 2 turns at the back, pick it up with 1, pass to the other, end turn, pass again on the next turn. The value you will get out of having 3 blodgers instead of 1 is huge. I mean, Nicholas knows maybe he just doesn't want to do it. It is kind of risky, you could drop the ball and ruin your whole offense. I feel like I would do it. If I had 2 people that important on 5, I would do it. Still only 1 case of guard, but 2 of these he can get his 2nd level soon, and he's nearly got his 1st level, and if he can get another touchdown on this one, that's a level. I'd maybe recommend it. You need the guard at this point. It's going to start becoming more important as the strength teams in the league start picking it up. You have access to it. It's not the easiest player to get it on, but you need to do it. And then 2 dirty players, 2 dirty player peasants. I love it. I love it. Absolutely beautiful. It's also got 150k, so curious if he'll spend it or if he's just going to sit on 150 so as not to give further inducements. He's got nothing to spend it on. He has plenty of players and all the positionals, so probably not. I love the double dirty player. Absolutely love it. Heinous Huggies, it might not be worth looking at because they're not properly done up from their 3rd game, I don't think. Does have a strength 4 pest. Oh, we looked at this because yep, strength 5 on the blitz, block 1. Still no warrior skills. Might change. Really hope he gets some soon. Needs it badly. The block rotter and the guard beast. It's really standard. It's not standard for 3 games plus greenhorn deep. You know, he needs more and quickly. But also doesn't have. He's got 2 wins, so. I mean, Sulfur clearly knows more about playing without skills than I do. He's like, block? Who needs block? You can just roll POW. So I gotta respect that. I really do. But there's not too much to cover in that team. So Nimrats, they look in good condition following a loss to Chaos, to be honest. It could have looked a lot worse when you lose to Chaos. Actually, it often does. So at least props on that front. The Storm Vermin leveled up and got Mighty Blow, which is good. Gives him something against the other low armor teams. And 2 block dodge gutter runners, which are a nightmare to get the ball off of, everyone knows that. Strength 3 gutter runner, which if he can level and get wrestle is a nightmare of a ball sacker. And kick, which is good. Tackle wrestle on a lineman. This is great because this is just the anti-blodge lineman right here. He does not care about block or dodge. If you have the ball, Fivel's coming for you. Really good player. And the movement 8 thrower, which is fine because it just nullifies any threat that kick or anything like that has on your team. At movement 8, you stand him anywhere he can get the ball. You stand him at the back, he can get the ball and bring it to the front in one turn, more or less. Really good. So these rats are actually coming along okay. It's just unfortunate they're not getting any touchdowns, which just makes it rough in terms of SPP. But he has had some hard matchups. That's one thing to look into when you lose your first 2 games. Like I said, it matters who you lose to, and he's lost to the Tacklers and Freya's Guard. So obviously both teams undefeated, first and second place. Those aren't the worst losses to have to face early, because now you can go into what will be considered at this stage, easier games. I'm not saying that the Tacklers and the Guard are going to be the top teams all season long, but in the current state of things. So the Rats are coming on okay, but again, they need to get some touchdowns and start picking that up quickly. Oh, my favourite Dark Elf team. How are they getting along? Block dodge sidestep witch. Scary. Don't like it. Very standard. This witch still has 0 SPP. I think it needs to be force-fed touchdowns at this point. Because until they get blocked, they're actually not that scary. They're a good player, they're just not that scary. I would get it blocked as quick as possible. The piling on Mighty Blow Blitz is still there, still racking up Kaz. How many Kaz does this man have? 6. He's inflicted 6 casualties. Oh. 6 casualties, 27 injuries. Madman. He's a scary player. It's very scary to have those kind of stats with piling on a Mighty Blow. If any of the teams with 30 player that I keep recommending you pick up come up against him, watch him do a pile on and then just run in there and stand on his head. Okay, give him a nightcap. He's got an injury on this blitzer. I think it was niggling. I'm sure. Yeah, niggling injury. But on block dodge armor 8, yeah, I agreed last week. Just keep him. It's fine. Movement 8 blitzer, great. Agi 5 blitzer, great. Scary stat ups there on both of them. Just disgusting, this team. They just need a bit more dodge now, I think. You need dodge. I mean, you've still got 2 blitzers without dodge and no dodge linemen. They can eat their rerolls on just a couple of 1s on dodging, but they're only going to pick up more and more dodge, so it's not a great tactic all in. Wrestle linemen. I prefer block on Dark Elves, but they're only movement 6, and you don't really want them prone. But other people completely disagree with me, I know that. So we'll see how it goes for Grumpelkins, just his way of playing. And then you've got a niggle injury lineman, but it's a lineman. If he dies, he dies. The Ass Kickers coming off their win. Have a bunch of level ups to do. So can't really cover because he hasn't done them yet, but 2 block warriors already is great. This one will most likely now be block Mighty Blow. Didn't get 1 SPP on this one, but that's oh well. Agi 4, Beastman has leveled up, so he'll probably get some sort of ball handling skill, which will make him an absolute nightmare. And this other Beastman, I imagine, will get block, which is just a really safe thing for him to do. He might be tempted by a wrestle one, he might get doubles or something, you don't know. Team's looking good, team's leveling well, wish him luck with these level ups. Won't be much to look at with the Gorkies because it seems they didn't play their game. It's not confirmed yet, so I mean, it's like the Huggies, there's not too much I can say we didn't already see. We can laugh at the insane 6449 Blitzer again, that thing's terrifying, please someone kill it, it gives me nightmares. But other than that, we've seen all this, I've been through all this, we'll just check them out next week once they've had some games confirmed. So the Blackwood was coming off their draw. Now, it was a high scoring draw. Big thing, obviously, Witch Elf is out. Is it just missed next game? It is. So that's fine for them. But whoever plays Canis next week is going to have the benefit of not dealing with a Witch Elf, which is good. He got her a touchdown, which is what I advised to do last week. Get her the touchdowns and get block immediately. Got halfway there before she was brutally beat up. But oh well. And then basically the same advice that Grumplekin's got. Just get dodge on these two, very close here. Close here as well. He's also got an Agi 5, so both elves are featuring a movement 8 and an Agi 5 blitzer. It's just insane. Both have a mighty blow, although he doesn't have piling on, but maybe in one SPP he will. Also gone for wrestle. So like I said, I'm kind of the only one not on the wrestle train. I would like to see some block, but if that's not how you play it, that's not how you play it. I definitely understand the point and the power of wrestle, especially on just linemen, especially when you have 4 block and you will get a 5th block when she levels up as well. And then kick, which is good. Unless you're against the Nimrats, because they got a movement 8 thrower who's just going to catch it anyway. But against most teams, it's good to have kick. So they're coming along well. Draw against the Brett's a bit of a surprise, but I can see how with the Witch Elf would have got injured, and there probably was a couple other people out from like KOs and things, how it can happen. He just has to keep going. He's still very near the top of the table. Try to get some wins. The Byzantine Bashers. How's it looking here? They lost, right? Yes, lost to Freya's Guard, of course, like I said, because they don't have enough block. He's only got 3 instances of block across the whole team, as opposed to, obviously, everyone on the Norse team bar the Ulfs and the Yeti. It just makes it hard. I mean, as Warriors, all 3 of them have it, although I think it was only 2 before the game. I don't know if this one did or not. So they could have maybe stayed standing quite often, but it's still just not easy. Norse probably just knocked the Chaos Warriors over and ran around them with all the block and just all they have Dauntless and things, and they have Jump Up. They were probably able just to outmaneuver. Wrestle Beastman was good. Dodge Beastman's really good. Gotta get that leveled. And Strength 4 Beastman. There's so many stat ups in this division, guys. You gotta stop rolling stat ups. They're not fair for the other players. So I think this team looks good. I like the it's free block already covered. Themed name has to catch up. He could be a replacement actually, because his name doesn't fit. I don't remember themed name. Does he have a games? Yeah, he's new. He's new. So he actually appears to have lost a Chaos Warrior at some point, and he's had to buy a new one. So he had it in the last game. Was it the one that got MVP? The player was not found. Yeah. So whatever this injury was, it was bad enough that the guy who got MVP and leveled up had to be fired and replaced. So actually this is really bad for the Byzantine Bashers, because their MVP SPP is gone. That's 5 off the table. And he did have the 4th Chaos Warrior leveled. It just has to be removed. I imagine it was -1 strength, because he wasn't dead, but that's the only injury I could think you would fire him for. -1 strength. Maybe minus armor even, I don't know. I would keep a movement or agility busted one, because that really just makes them a Nurgle warrior, and it's not so bad to have just one like that. But if it was strength, yeah, he's got to go. So, that is unfortunate. That's a setback for the Bashers. But the other 3 are looking good, and the Beastmen are all looking good, except Alexius. But like I said, on 5 movement, and as a lineman, you can keep that. That's not such a big deal. It's very unfortunate that themed name has had to come in and be a 0 SPP again. It's a big setback, a big achievement for Freya's Guard to have done that to them. Lorcos de la Cabeza. Have a Black Orc out next game. Just miss next game? Yeah, it's all just miss next game. You're all too soft. Where's the -1 strength? So, well, sorry, they were on the Bashers. So what's he got here? I mean, he's got Leader on a thrower, which is good because it gives you a reroll, and he's got 3 team rerolls, so he's got 4 rerolls. With the inbuilt skills like Pass, Sure Hands, he's getting dodge, he's got plenty of block. He might not actually use all his rerolls that often, but it's really good just to have 4. It's such a comfort for the Orc player to know that he can use one very often, and it won't really matter. So that is good. I like the Leader pickup, just gives you so much reroll security. The thrower, if he goes off, you do lose a reroll, but he probably isn't in the thick of it that often, and is still armor 8. He's an Orc, he's tough. Dodge tackle blitzer, it's just the perfect blitzer. Guard, nice and helpful. 2 Blackhawks need to catch up now. And I said this as well last week. You had 2 with block and 2 that had to catch up. This one's going to be even more of a nightmare because it's got missed next game. How you force them to level up, I really don't know. You just try and score Kaz. I would do everything that could be done to feed Kaz to this one and try to get it blocked. And the blitzers need to get the touchdowns. This one and this one. Obviously he's already doing that. That's why they have free SPP. But you got to do it again and just get more guard, some mighty blow. If you can get more dodge, it'd be great. I think that's what you got to do. This man here doesn't need touchdowns anymore. He's now actually a blitzer. He hits people, and you want to get him to mighty blow, I think. But it's good. It's looking pretty good. Just an orc affair. 2 Blackhawks, kind of lagging, but such is life. Now, no blitzing with Wolf, the other pink team. 2 Wolves, 1 with block, 1 with mighty blow. Obviously, he's going to try to get this one block immediately. The only benefit you have if you come up against this thing is that it doesn't have block or dodge and is strength free. You have to hit it before it hits you. This one is going to hit you slightly less hard, but is much more likely to knock you down. So he's terrifying, and you're less likely to knock him down, so he's terrifying. And when they both get more skills, they become more and more terrifying. Ambitank's team is just a scary one, because they're going to hurt you. They always will. 2 guard whites. Gives them great strength advantage, tackle to deal with the block, the dodge. Agi 1 injury on this guy means nothing because they never dodge or catch the ball or anything like that anyway. That's not their job. This one has block, which makes him the perfect road block now. Road block. He is going to stand in the middle of the pitch and you just stand firm and block every chance he gets, and you're not going to get past him, and it's just going to be such a pain for you. It's a really good player. Got a ghoul here. Is it miss next game? It is. There's another miss next game. That's his ball sacking ghoul with dodge and wrestle, so if you play Ambitank next, you at least have the advantage of not coming up against any anti-block. He only has his own block. Maybe that'll help you out. Normal ghoul and a dirty player zombie. I love the zombie. I don't know how I feel about A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, because he doesn't have Y or Z. So, I don't think he's a very good player. I would fire this zombie. He's short 2 letters of a great name. The Barbecue Brawlers, the other Brett team. Ooh, they have a blitzer. Is he missing next game? He is. It's not missing. It's just always missing next game. Why do I look? They are just missing next game. His team hasn't changed much since we last looked. I don't think he got much SPP from the last match. It's going to be rough to play with 3 blitzers, so whoever plays him next has a big advantage in that they have 1 less star player to deal with. On the fortunate side, it was his worst blitzer. It was the only one that didn't have dodge. 2 guard, it's good. Agi 4 on the block is good. Almost at guard. He's always had Agi 4. That was he had it for the last few games. But we've been saying once he gets guard, he'll be able to 2-up out of there and into positions where his guard is much more usable. So he's very nearly there. I think it'd be reasonable to give this guy a touchdown or 2 passes because he's Agi 4 next game and just get that out of there. And the dirty player. Now he's down to 9 players next game, so he's going to have 2 loners. So I think if you play Banthok next, you got a easier game than you should have. And that's not me making fun of Banthok for once. It's genuinely hard to play with 2 loners and down a blitzer. And Burner's High Elves. So the thrower has dodge now. He went for dodge after accurate, which was brave. That is a statement. It says, I don't care about my thrower after he's thrown the ball. That's a hiccup, sorry. He's there to throw that ball up the pitch. He can suck. He can get killed otherwise. I don't care. And it's worked out because he's got a lot of SPP now, and now he's picked up dodge, which sort of allows the thrower to be a bit more aggressive. Maybe in the defensive half you can dodge him in to get to the ball, pass it out to a safer catcher, things like that. It's a good pickup. I imagine, unless he rolls doubles for strong arm or 11 for plus agi, next will come block. The only thing I have to warn everyone else about is if he does get strong arm or agi on the next level up, he'll start doing long passes on a 2-up with a reroll, which is bad news for everyone else because that's a 9 square throw. A 9 square throw to someone that can move 8 is a lot of squares on the field getting covered with very little risk because catch and pass. So I bet he's hoping for that. Guard on a blitzer, beautiful. Now when I spoke to Burner, I said, why did he take Mighty Blow on his strength double, not guard? He said because he didn't want an armor 7 player with guard to be moved into those positions because it would just get killed. What he wanted was a block dodge player with armor 8 in those positions to guard. And if he can level this guy up again and get sidestep, that is now the nightmare guard piece. It's so hard to deal with. There's guards everywhere. So he's really lucky. It's worked out for him. He got guard on the player he wanted after taking Mighty Blow on this guy. And he's got an alignment with guard. Not as good as the blitzer, but still armor 8, still agi 4, still move him into scary positions. Block on both the catchers before dodge is interesting. I do it the other way around. I don't know if I just like speedy elves. On this guy it makes sense because he's got Mighty Blow, so obviously he's not being used as a scorer anymore so much as a third blitzer. But this guy, I think I might have went dodge. But he's one touchdown away from getting dodge as well. So Burner's High Elves actually look great in my opinion. I think this is a great example of what a High Elf team can look like. Again, I might have just went block here because I don't like putting movement 6 players on the floor myself, but his decision. This team can do well. Really can. So I can make predictions for week 4. The Highgate Wardens versus Lorcos de la Cabeza I would give to the High Elves. Their armor 8 and the lack of block and Mighty Blow on the Orc side will probably see that they don't lose too many players, and then it's Elves versus Orcs. Elves just score. So I am going to say probably 2-0 or 2-1 to the Highgate Wardens. Byzantine Bashers versus No Blitzing with Wolf. I gotta give to No Blitzing with Wolf. He's got Claw on 2 players, which is Chaos's nightmare. Chaos need the Chaos Warriors on the pitch being useful. Against Claw Mighty Blow, they will very quickly be off the pitch. If the Byzantines can deal with the Wolves quickly and efficiently, then they can win it. And I bet against them last week and they won it. So I mean, you know. Oh wait, or did they? They did not win actually. I think it was the other Chaos team that won. Sorry Bashers, yeah, you didn't win. I think you're going to go 0-0-4. That's a brutal prediction to make, but I see it going to the Necro. They are faster, they are just as strong. Well, the Flesh Golems are just as strong. They've got the Ghouls for some more speed. You've got the Zombies that they can just feed to you because they don't care if they die. And the Wolves will rip the Chaos Warriors apart. It's just a nightmare matchup. The Black Widows versus the Barbecue Brawlers. I gotta give to the Black Widows. A, because I'm supporting the Dark Elves every time, as I always do. B, because Banthok is on a weaker team than he should be with the Blitzer out and 2 loners. And he doesn't have a lot of skills yet, whereas the Dark Elves do. And 3, because Dark Elves are better than Bretonnians in my opinion. So I'm going to go with the Black Widows. I don't think it'll be super one-sided though. I do see only 1-0, maybe 2-1, something like that. Gorkies versus the Tacklers. I'm going to give Tacklers for 2 reasons. Tacklers are undefeated, and they're very good. They have some very good skills. The second one, the Gorkies didn't play their last match, so I don't know what's going on there. Who knows? I just think the Tacklers have a really good team. They've had a really good start, and they'll carry that momentum forward. Orcs, not too much of a problem for Undead. Not many teams are. I'll give it to them. Freya's Guard versus Valikas Ass Kickers. Now, Freya's Guard played Chaos last week and won, and I'm just going to give the exact same reasoning why I think they'll win again. The Ass Kickers don't have enough key skills yet to just get over the fact that the Norse do. Later on in the season, Chaos I think would be able to wipe Norse off the board with Almighty Blow and stuff like that, but we're just long past that point. Long past? Long way till that point. I still only do these in one take, guys. I'm just going to keep making these mistakes. So long way till that point. They don't have it yet. Freya's Guard have the skills they need. They'll be able to block their way through, just get to the end and score. I see both the Tacklers and Freya's Guard staying in first place on 4 wins at the end of this one. Swizzle Sticks versus Analog Pobble. I'd give to the Swizzle Sticks on paper. Again, it's the exact same. It's Dark Elves versus Brett's again. Literally just the exact same reasoning. I'll go through. Adult's team, Nicholas' team, Adult, is in a better place than Matt's team going into this game. They don't have to miss next game like the Barbecue Brawlers. But Nicholas' team is just crazy in terms of the stats they've got as well. And I think they should win. Now, they have had a slip up in the season. They have had a loss, so they're not unbeatable. And Nicholas has proven that he's got some sort of trick against Dark Elves by pulling that draw against Alpha Black Widows last week that I said he wouldn't be able to do. So, honestly, it's up in the air. If he can pull off a bit of that Brett magic, then yeah, he could win it. But I'm going to default to saying that the Dark Elves win. So, if you do win, Nicholas, don't take it personally, because I do believe in you, and I have a lot of faith. But Dark Elves are Dark Elves. And the last game, the Nimrats versus Heinous Huggies. So, Skaven versus Nurgle is quite interesting actually, because it's one of the matchups Nurgle excels in until they don't. If that makes sense. If they can get some rats caught in the tentacles, if they can get their disturbing presence in a way that stops the rats passing, and if they can get some removals from the field, they'll win that game. They'll just crush the rats under their feet and they'll grind it out, and it's very, very possible. And the rats are going to need to be aware of that every step of the game. However, Nurgle are also really, really slow, and they don't have much agility on their team. It is quite easy for the rats to screen around them and just sprint a gutter runner into the end zone. So, I see this being close, unless the Huggies get a bunch of early removals. If the Huggies can get a lot of early removals, they could easily sweep this one away. Other than that, I see the rats taking it maybe 2-1, something like that, just through gutter runners sprinting up the sides, and the Huggies not having any real way to catch them. I think that is how it will go. It's an interesting matchup. I'd actually quite like to watch it if it was streamed. I might watch the highlights even if it's not, because I think it's a very interesting matchup, Nurgles versus Rats. We haven't been doing Game of the Week until now. I'm going to say Game of the Week on this one. We've just invented Game of the Week. I just like Rats versus Nurgle as a matchup. I think it'll be very interesting. So that was your recap for week 3 and your setup for week 4. I'll see you again in a week's time. If I find out what happened between the Huggies and Gorkies game, I'll try tell you. And if there's anything I've said that you don't agree with, anything you said that you found was offensive, if you think I'm a very nice and handsome man, or if you want to call me an idiot, you can just leave comments at me at Discord or any form of communication that way. I'd love to see. So, thanks for watching, guys.